Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. If you don't know me already, you already know by the title of today's video what we're going to be doing. Quick side note real quick, today is indeed no makeup Monday, so what you see is what you get for today, at least. I just felt like I needed to say that for some reason, maybe because I feel like sometimes without makeup I look like a homeless person. Not that there's anything wrong with homeless people, but I just wanted to warn you in case I scared you with how I look right now. If you're new to my channel, you probably don't know anything about me. I don't really know where I was going with that sentence. If you have seen any of my other videos at all, you would know that I am a wife. I also work full-time, and sometimes with all of that going on, I just feel like I don't really have much time to read as much as I wish I did. And so not only for you guys, but also for myself, because I don't even know how much I really read on like an average week, we're going to be discovering together how much I just read in a normal week. This is not a challenge. I'm not going to be purposefully trying to read just to like make you think I read all the time when I don't. To start off, I want to mention that I was reading a little bit earlier. I would say a little bit more than halfway through Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. Funny situation, I actually run a book club support group within my work environment. Like, that's part of my job. It's a little bit tricky because it's like a 6-week book club and we're going through just one book in the course of 6 weeks. So I've been reading this the past few weeks, and normally when I'm like reading a book, I just read it through without picking up any other books. I like to do like one book at a time. But because it's like a 6-week book club, I've just been reading the section of the book that I'm supposed to read for that week. I actually really like it. I think it's really, really good so far. I think the themes in it are so good. The characters have so much like character development that I feel like we're already starting to see bloom even just halfway through. I've been reading it a lot today. I'm going to keep track of it on my phone so I can tell you by the end, but just know that I read a good chunk of this book today, and I loved every second of it. So I'm gonna put this away now because I'm caught up to the point that I need to be for the meeting tomorrow, and now I need to pick up a new book to start. I was thinking earlier what kind of book I want to dive into, and I think I really want to start just attacking my May TBR list, and I think I ended up with Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. This is a thriller book. I just read a romance and I did not really like it, so I feel like I'm all romanced out for now. So I didn't want to read a romance book. It was between this book and a fantasy book, and I don't know why this one's just calling my name today. I think I just totally need to do a 180 and totally switch the kind of book that I'm reading, because yeah, truth be told, the romance book that I just finished, yeah, that was pretty bad, and I don't want to read anything like that probably ever again. I have been warned by multiple people at this point that this is a very, very, very disturbing thriller. Some people have given me trigger warnings for some themes that apparently are very major to this plot, but I'm also very excited to totally switch it up. Let me see where I'm at. I'm literally on chapter 3, which is about 30 pages in, and I will say it took me, which this is how it always is when I like start a new thriller, because thrillers are just written so much like more different than like fantasy books and romances. I don't know how to really explain it. I just feel like they're always written different, just a different kind of style than the other ones that I normally would read more often. It always takes me like a minute to really get into the story because it's just written different. I don't really know, like I said, how to explain it. It just is, to me at least. But I'm 30 pages into it right now, and I will say I'm pretty invested. I'm pretty invested in this plot. But yeah, I'm not too far into the book right now. What just happened was that our main character, Camille, she's the reporter that's kind of covering the story of these murders. She just, not witnessed, she just discovered the body of the second victim, and it really shook her up. But that's all I have right now, so little updates, not too much, but I'm going to sit down now and read this either until my husband's done showering or until I find something else to do tonight. we are in the car right now. It's Thursday. I didn't film it all yesterday because I had no updates to give you. I actually didn't end up reading anything yesterday, unfortunately, but I have been reading a little bit this morning. We're in the car because we both have off today and we're really hungry, so we're actually gonna go grab some Chick-fil-A and then probably come back and I'll continue to read because it's just so nice out. I feel like it's a nice reading day. So that's the plan for today. Just wanted to say that, and then I'll give you an update a little bit later on. Hi guys, I'm in a goofy position right now because I just woke up from a nap and my cat is literally right here. You can see him. And I don't know if it's, actually I know it's not just me. I feel like all cat owners can relate to this, but when your cat is like sleeping with you, it is nearly impossible for you to get yourself up because you just don't want to like disturb their placement and like their peace. So that's why the camera placement is like a little bit awkward right now, but luckily I have my book right here with me because I was gonna read it once I woke up anyway, so I had it next to me the whole time. So I think what I'm gonna do is oh my gosh, look how cute he is. I love him. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm gonna pick this up and probably pick up where I last left off. I'm about halfway through right now and there's actually a lot that's not unfolding, but we're learning a lot. I feel like we're especially learning a lot about our main character, Camille, and just how unreliable of a narrator she is. The whole story, the whole book takes place from her POV, and we're I guess you could say uncovering. We're just learning a lot about her childhood, how she grew up, and like I said, just realizing that she may not be the most reliable reporter or reliable narrator for this story that's going on, which is a really interesting kind of turn of events. I actually have had an intuition from the beginning of the book on who I think the killer may be, or at least someone that's like mainly involved. I want to say who the killer is, honestly, but to be honest, I don't know how it would be this person or even why it would be this person. It's just a gut instinct. Just something about my intuition is telling me that I actually think it may be someone we've known from the beginning of the story, and someone who's very close to our main character, Camille, but I could literally totally be wrong. There's no evidence, there's no reason to my thought. It's literally just like an intuition that I have. Hi guys, I just wanted to give you a quick update on reading Sharp Objects because I actually read a lot today, so I'm actually almost done it. Isn't that crazy? I think I might have like 50 to 60 pages left, which feels like really not much at all. So I'm definitely going to be finishing that very soon. If not tonight, definitely finishing it tomorrow at some point. But I just got out of the shower. I also made dinner. This is spaghetti with some Texas toast, and I also made a matcha just because I was really craving one. I didn't have one today yet. Quick update. Things are moving fast in this plot. There is a lot being revealed, and I actually feel really bad for the characters in the story because it just seems like it almost comes across like this town, this small town, just has some kind of like curse on it. It doesn't actually have a curse on it, obviously, like there's no magic, nothing like that in this story, but it just kind of feels that way with how the story is going and just with how much we're learning about each character, because each character, whether they're like major to the plot or very small to the plot, they all have two things in common. First, they are all from this town and live here currently, and then second, they have all been through a lot of trauma we'll say trauma. And so it's definitely like very eerie and creepy in some aspects, but I'm actually really enjoying my way through this story so far. It's moving very quickly at the point that I'm in. It's very fast paced, the writing's good, the story is good, the plot's good, the mystery is slowly, I feel like, starting to be revealed. And definitely the next time I update you, I will be done this book, which I'm very excited for because it actually only took me a few days to read this book. Alright guys, lots of updates today. I have sourdough. I just baked this morning. Today's Saturday. Yeah, today's Saturday because I'm home and I don't work Saturdays. It is, what time is it right now? It's like almost 1:30, about to be 1:30 p.m. I have had a very busy morning. I woke up, I baked some sourdough that I had prepped yesterday. I did not film yesterday, which was Friday, because I didn't read at all Friday. I came home from work and then my brother was coming over to spend the night here just to like sleep over. And so I had to like tidy up our apartment, and then by the time that was done, he was kind of on his way over, and then Andrew got home from work. So by the time I just had like some time to myself, my brother was arriving at our apartment, and we ended up just watching a movie, playing some video games together. So I just had no time at all really to myself that I could kind of sit down and read. I was just very busy. So I did not read at all yesterday, hence why there is no footage of me reading yesterday. But you guys know from last time I filmed and gave you an update, I was very close to finishing this book, and I actually did finish this book that night. I just was so like excited to see what happened and who the killer was. I had my suspicions, so it was a page turner towards the end. I could not put it down. I just needed to know what was going on and who it was and all of that. So I did finish this that night. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I was trying to think why it wasn't. I think there's a bird out there because my cat, like, he does that when there's a bird. That was like terrifying. Oh my gosh. It says on here, an HBO limited series starring Amy Adams. I never noticed that until just now. Is this a show? I'm gonna have to look that up later. I would definitely watch this show if it was. Although, you know what? I have noticed that I'm not the biggest fan of HBO as like a network or streaming service. I've noticed that a lot of the shows and movies that are on HBO, I just feel like are really inappropriate, we'll say. And so I don't know if I've ever watched an HBO limited series. I would have to look it up. I'd have to see, now that I know like what the plot is, I'd have to see what is in the show before I watched it, because I wouldn't want to watch it if I felt like it was too inappropriate. Alright, I moved my camera. The next book I'm going to be reading, I think I'm gonna actually start today, is Starside by Alex Astor. This is probably my most highly anticipated romantasy or fantasy book of the year. If you guys have watched any of my previous videos before, you probably know that Alex Astor is one of my favorite authors. She wrote the Light Lark series, which is one of my favorite book series and fantasy series I've ever read. I've also met her multiple times on like her book tours, so I can say confidently that she is truly just one of the sweetest human beings I've ever met. I've met a few authors, and she, by a long shot, she just has such a like wholesome and beautiful soul. So I love to read her books. And then on top of all of that, she just has really good books. So I love Alex Astor as an author. And she just came out with this book. She also just announced that book 2 in this series is going to come out later this year, I think. But yeah, this is a fantasy / romantasy book. I'm really excited for it. I've been excited for it for a long time. It's a little bit chunkier than Sharp Objects. It has double the amount of pages that Sharp Objects has, but I find myself really liking fantasy books a lot of times, so even though it's a little bit longer, I still think that I'll probably, hopefully, be able to read it pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm going to pick this up and start reading it probably right now, actually. Alright guys, I have quite the update to give you because I have done nothing today besides sit down and read Starside. I've literally been reading for hours. I am on chapter 22 right now. I'm literally about Yeah, I'm about at the halfway mark, which is absolutely insane. I did not think that I was going to be reading this much tonight, but I am just so like encapsulated by the story that I just feel like I can't put it down. I don't want to put it down. I am loving every single scene in this book. Tomorrow is Sunday. It's also Mother's Day, so I don't know how much I'll actually be able to read because we're gonna go to my mom's house, and then we're going to go to my husband's mother's house to kind of spend time with both of them tomorrow. So I don't know how much I'll get to read, but I'm definitely going to bring this book with me, and I would love to finish this book tomorrow ideally. I just don't know if I'll have time. Today is Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. Well, by the time this gets posted, it's actually going to be a few days after Mother's Day, but today is Mother's Day. It's Sunday night. We just got home from doing both of our families. Let me pick up my cat because he's begging for attention. Oof, get flipped. We just got back from both of our parents' house. We did church this morning, and then we went to my family's house to say Happy Mother's Day to my mom and kind of just spend some time with her. And then after that, we went to my in-laws to, again, just wish his mom a Happy Mother's Day and spend some time with her. So today has been a very busy day, but it's also been very eventful, which is good. Like I said, we just got home, and I have been reading a little bit of this book throughout the day, so you can see where I'm at right here. I've read all of this, and I just have this part left, so I've read maybe like 50 or 60 pages today. Because I am just so obsessed with this book. I don't want to do anything but read it. Hi guys, I am back from work. I just got back a few minutes ago. I changed into more comfortable clothes. But today is indeed Monday, which means that this video is coming to a close very soon. However, I still feel like I have the rest of the day to kind of make the most of it. And I have a few hours that I don't really have much to do. So I actually do have a little bit of time to read today. I'm gonna give myself to the end of the day to read, and then we will do a final reading wrap up on how much I read this entire week, and we'll even dive more like closely into it and see how many pages I read every single day. And I wanted to give a little update now that it's Monday. It's kind of funny because last week I did this same exact thing because my book club for work is actually tomorrow, which means I had to catch up on reading the section of Remarkably Bright Creatures that I needed to read in preparation for tomorrow. So I actually spent some time reading this book. You can see how far into it I am right now. I'm almost done, so actually by next week the goal is to finish this book, which is really cool. But I just read, I want to say I read like 68 or 70 pages of this book today, so that's cool. And then if you've been like obviously watching this vlog, you know that I am absolutely obsessed with this book, Starside by Alex Astor. I just feel like I can't put it down. It was actually hard for me to read Remarkably Bright Creatures today because all I was thinking about was this book, but my goal is to actually finish this book today. I want to say, let's see how much I have left. Okay, so I'm on chapter 36, which is page 389. And I think the book is about 500 pages long, so I have just over 100 pages to read of this book. So after I finish reading this small section, I will come back here and we will talk about how many pages I read this week, what I thought of the books I read this week, and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna get to reading because I don't want to keep wasting time. Alright guys, welcome to my last and final update for this video because it is officially Monday night and I am done reading for the night. So now we can finally recap all of the pages that I read and see how many pages I read each day specifically. Where is it? I think I put it in the other room, but I did end up finishing Starside tonight by Alex Astor. I actually finished it a little bit ago, but then I had to shower, and that book left off on quite the crazy endings, so I felt like I needed some time to compose myself also. So I've actually been done reading for a little bit now, but I wrote down on my phone in my notes app the amount of pages I read every day and all of that, so let's just recap everything. Okay, so I started this video on a Monday. It is now Monday night, which means it's officially been one full week, and I can kind of recap everything that I've read this past week. On Monday, the first day of this video, I ended up reading 2 books. I read, that's my cat Saja. The first book that I read was Remarkably Bright Creatures, and I ended up reading 78 pages of this book. I read this book, a good section of it, every week for a book club that I run through like my work environment. Actually, it's very like crazy that I get the chance to do that even in my work, because I just naturally love reading even in my personal life. So it's cool that I was able to kind of incorporate having like a little bit of a book club in my work. But the book club that I host through my work is every Tuesday afternoon, so I usually read what I need for like that week on Monday the night before, just so it's all very fresh in my head and all of that. So yes, on Monday I read 78 pages of Remarkably Bright Creatures, and then I also started a thriller book called Sharp Objects, and I read 29 pages of that book on Monday. Then on Tuesday I ended up only reading my thriller book, and I actually didn't read too much of it. I only read 32 pages of Sharp Objects on Tuesday. On Wednesday I read 0 pages. I just had a really busy day, and so I didn't get the chance to read anything. Thursday was the day that I got really into Sharp Objects. It was a slow beginning, but then it really picked up very quickly, and I ended up reading 191 pages of Sharp Objects. I also finished this book on Thursday, so yeah, I kind of just sat until I finished the book because I was so into it. Friday was another slow day. I read 0 pages on Friday. I actually don't even know what I did on Friday. I just remember I was either really busy or I just wasn't in the mood to pick up a book, something like that. I'm not sure why, but I ended up reading 0 pages on Friday. On Saturday, I needed to pick a new book to start since I just finished out my thriller on Thursday. So on Saturday, I started Starside by Alex Astor. This is a fantasy book. It was also one of my most anticipated reads for the year, so I was very excited to start it. And you can definitely tell that I was very excited to start it because I ended up reading 240 pages of Starside on Saturday. Yeah, you can tell I really was into this book pretty much from page 1. So ended up reading 240 pages on Saturday. Sunday was Mother's Day, so I was super into Starside. I knew that I really wanted to finish this book, but Mother's Day was very busy, so I didn't get the chance to read all of it like I wanted. However, I did read 149 pages of Starside on Sunday. So I still got a good chunk in, but I didn't finish it. And today is Monday, so today was the last day of this vlog that I'm doing. And if you remember what I said just a minute or two ago, on Mondays I usually try and catch up on Remarkably Bright Creatures for my book club on Tuesday afternoons. So today I read 76 pages of Remarkably Bright Creatures, and then I did finish out Starside by Alex Astor. I ended up reading 114 pages. I was obviously obsessed with this book, so just sitting down and reading it was pretty much like one of the most wonderful experiences I've ever had. So all together, between last Monday and this Monday today, I ended up reading a total of 909 pages, which actually just feels like crazy because I did not expect to read that much this week, but I just had a really good week of reading this week. I really liked both of the books that I read, which is why I was able to just like fly through them so fast. Yeah, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. Also, I'm trying to reach some more subscribers, so that would just mean a lot, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!